Hey, and welcome back to another episode of Richer in Crypto. My name is Rogier, and of course, the market is very volatile at the moment. And did we hit the bottom, yes or no? My personal opinion is that we're not there yet. And there's something interesting on this chart that I would like to show you. And these three blue vertical lines that I've drawn, they are aligned to the very low RSI level, the Relative Strength Index level that we can see right now. And the low of the relative strength index at the moment, it sits around 37 on the weekly chart for Bitcoin. And if you look back in time when the RSI was this low, it was just before the final correction of previous bear markets. So this could mean that if Bitcoin does not hold support above the $28,500, and it's not a fact that it won't, but it's a possibility. So we need to look at the possibility. If that happens, we could see another drawback of around maybe 30-35%. And of course, information from the past is not always useful for the future or for the current situation, but it is something that we need to keep in mind. So if from this point we go back another 30%, that would bring us to around $26,000. And maybe the bottom could potentially be around $20,000 for Bitcoin. And that will be an ideal moment for me personally to load up some more cryptos in my bags. But this is a very interesting point. So it's oversold. That's what the RSI stands for. A very low RSI level means it's oversold. Bitcoin has been selling off for the last couple of weeks. And if the RSI is very high, then it's overbought. So it's an indicator that can tell us that a bottom is nearby, but at the moment, I still think we're not at the bottom yet. There's still, at a macroeconomic level, there are a lot of factors playing at the moment. The COVID crisis is still not behind us. The tension with Russia is certainly there, and we don't know yet what that can bring for the economy within Europe, but even globally. So we need to wait and see what happens. And also the Nasdaq, Dow Jones, those indices are also on a loss if you take a look at the weekly levels. So this is the S&P 500 index, which means the 500 biggest companies registered on the stock market in the United States. And you can see that from the high, which was reached in the week of the beginning of January, the bottom was around 12% lower. And the dip that you can see here, this was the COVID crisis dip. And then there was a retracement of at the bottom at 35%. It doesn't mean that we will go down 35% again. I don't think that's very likely. But in my opinion, this downtrend over here is not finished yet. And let's take a look at the Nasdaq. So the Nasdaq on the weekly, on the bottom, it's down 18%. And the Nasdaq has all the tech shares. So it's down 18%. And now it sits in the middle, buyers and sellers. We need to see which direction it will take, but it's a very possible outcome that we go a little bit lower first before we go back up again. And then potentially the move could look something like this, eventually ending up higher. And this also means, that's my opinion, that this will go the same for the crypto space. So let's go back to Bitcoin. And on the Bitcoin chart, we're still looking at the weekly chart. I added the Bitcoin logarithmic rainbow chart, which you can see over here that in previous bear markets, this white line was usually the bottom with a spike down the white line. So this could mean that for Bitcoin, if the downtrend continues, it will move around at $27,400. But the bottom, it could reach into the blue line or purple line. So that would bring it back to around $20,000. To be honest with you guys, this is a golden opportunity from my perspective. If Bitcoin and the crypto market dips down to Bitcoin back to $20,000, this will mean that all the other altcoins, the brilliant projects, will be on a very, very great discount. So that's something that we really need to take a look at. But of course, there's no guarantee that this will play out. So if we remove this indicator and take a look at where we are now, the one thing for the double top not to play out, of course, I'm just saying this again, we shouldn't fall below the level of the 28,500. If we do, then we will enter the final stage of the deep correction for the crypto space before it will be reversed again and setting higher levels. Interesting point though is that if you take a look on the daily chart for Bitcoin, you can see that there is coming in some green candles, volume, that means purchasing power. So the dip is being bought. And I think there's still a lot of money on the sidelines as well. So depending if we can see a fake out to the top and then a deeper correction again, a retest of this 30,000 level, then either we're going to see again a big green candle for a lot of volume, the price can go up, but eventually I think it's going to be very challenging for Bitcoin to hold on to the $30,000 level if the global economy will be stay under pressure and the stock market will also keep going down. So if at the moment you are sitting at a sideline with some fiat money and you're waiting to enter the market and you're thinking like, oh, well, Bitcoin has climbed from the bottom here to here. It's like 13.5%. So maybe the next target for Bitcoin could be potentially be above the 40K level, maybe even reach 45K. So that's another 19.4%. So I might miss the boat. So I might get in over here. I think it's still a very fragile market at the moment. This could be a fake out to the top because we've seen it before. There was a low here, then we had a climb. This was a fake out. The market went down and then we saw it again. We had a rise from 39,500 to 44,000. So we were thinking like, okay, we're getting back up there. So maybe now we're going to set new all-time highs, but no, also a fake out and the market dumped on us again. So this could potentially be the same scenario where the price might go up, maybe even to 39, 40,000 US dollars before dumping the market again and reaching this 30 or 28,500 level. Which I am personally looking out for. And to be honest, if we zoom out, and I just wanted to do this again, and I'll also grab the RSI level with this chart. We're on the daily chart now. So on the daily chart, you can see that the RSI level was as low as 20, but the daily chart has less data than on the weekly chart. So we need to make sure that if we get a further correction and if the RSI levels are going further down, of course, the $20,000 level for Bitcoin would be ultimately low and the perfect moment to enter the market from my perspective, not financial advice. And of course, if this doesn't happen and Bitcoin has reached the bottom and will go for a new all-time high in the first half of this year, I think it will rather be in the second half of 2022 when the economy will get stronger, the COVID crisis will vanish from the earth. The virus won't vanish, but the impact of the virus will vanish, and thus the logistic change can go to full power again. So everything will go to its full potential again somewhere later in 2022, and 2023 then will probably be a great year. So whatever happens in 2022, if the price of Bitcoin and the crypto space is going back to a market capitalization of, let's say, $1 trillion US, I wouldn't really mind because it's so volatile and the potential is so great that even if the market pulls further, before, as everybody thought, including myself, that Bitcoin would reach 100,000 US dollars before we would see a deep correction into a temporary bear market where we could see a drop to 30, maybe $25,000. But it happened way sooner than most of us expected. So if we see the correction and the pullback to these levels right now, and of course 37,000 is the price now, but a couple of days ago it was 33,000. So we're moving in that direction. So we need to keep a close eye on that and use it to our benefit. If we take a look at Ethereum on the weekly, then you can also see right here that the downtrend is still pretty strong. Yes, there has been a bounce this week, but the week is still in red, not much, because it's like maybe 1% before Ethereum hits the green for this week. But as you can see, all the candles, most of them are red, and the trend is still to the downside. So this bounce could be around $1,700, which is the bottom of the first correction after this all-time high in May 2021. So we could see a further correction down, or maybe also here a fake out to the upside, but then Ethereum will run into resistance in this blue box over here and then get rejected and going down. So be careful with entering the market right now if you think that the correction was over, because I think, the cards aren't dealt yet. We don't know for sure, but it's a very good possibility that we could see a further downside on the crypto space, and thus including for Ethereum. But as long as Ethereum stays above this red line, including for Bitcoin, staying above this red line for a double top scenario not to play out, then we could see a bounce here, and then eventually seeing new all-time highs for across the crypto space, and then crypto moving from the $3 trillion market cap, which it was in 2021, to maybe between $3 and $6 trillion in the near future. If we take a look at Cardano, ADA, here on the chart, you can see that ADA is struggling to stay above the level of the 94 cents, which is also the correction point after the first all-time high that we had also in May 2021. And you can see that the RSI levels are also at the lowest point, because if you go back in time and if you're looking for similar data points, you can see that these levels, when it first reached it, I'll just draw the vertical line so you can see, these were the previous all-time lows, and ADA still sits almost around $1. So this is good news. So once there we get a decent bounce in the next couple of months, in my personal opinion, it will take a little bit longer. It would be nice if the crypto space will take some time to consolidate, maybe go a little bit deeper into the correction before the next burst, as you can see right over here. This burst over here, this bull run from March 2020 until May 2021. So the amount of time that sits on this massive bull run from 2020 until 2021, it's 420 days. So let's say that it won't last, the next run won't last for 420 days, but maybe for 300 days. And we take it from the beginning of July and we measured 320 days in this example. So that could potentially mean that we go into the next phase from July 22 until May 23rd. And if we can expect the same level of growth as we had over here, then we can see all these coins setting new all-time highs. So this dip can then only be temporarily, and the bottom is very close. That's my expectation. And the last project that I want to take a look at is Solana. And as you can see, also Solana on the RSI, it's been at the lowest on the weekly chart. There's one data point from December 2020 when it was this low, as you can see over here. So there's been a boost and then a correction, a boost and then a correction. So we could expect something similar to happen, probably not at these levels, but there will be some diminishing returns, but the price will eventually move to a higher level before we get another correction. And this is the way the stock market is also moving and evolving through the decades. The line, if you zoom out on a decade chart, the line will look probably somewhere like this, where you can see these small bumps here, which of course now sits in the time frame of a small year or so, where we had two of these corrections. So one correction is only 84 days, so that's only nearly a 3-month period. So the larger the time frame, the smaller these bumps are in the road. So just take it easy, take a deep breath, and if you think it's really exciting for yourself right now to be in crypto or to be in the stock market, this is part of being an investor, being invested in the stock market, or being invested in crypto, or being invested in any other asset. So through time, you get used to this and stay calm, and that you know that if there is the bottom of the market is coming closer, that's when you realize that you always need like 20% of your invested money liquid so that you can buy the dip. And that means buying the dip, not buying the dip when the market is going down and you're spending all your money when the dip is still dipping. No, I'm meaning from when the bottom is set, that you still have some buying power before the next leg up comes, because you make your most money when you're purchasing your asset. Yeah, if you pay for it for the right price, if you get it for the right price, then you'll get the maximum benefit. And if the price is going to rise again, you can always make sure to take profits along the way. Don't wait too long for a correction to come, that potentially your profit is either 0 or almost 0. So while you're here and you're plus 50%, plus 100%, plus 300%, make sure you take some profits along the way. So that was it for this episode. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and leave a thumbs if you like the content. The next video will be available next Thursday. So let's see what the market does. My expectations, we could dip a little bit lower than we currently are, maybe 30% even at the maximum, and it will all be happening in the next couple of months, if it will happen. And if it won't, then the market will go up and everybody is of course going to be happy. And let's see how it plays out. So see you guys next Thursday. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.